What's going on? Not Move Nation, JB. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Not Move Podcast? What's going on, Not Move Nation? What's up? Bettors?
Not much, man. Just looking into this Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills football game tonight. I'm just gonna get started here by saying that Buffalo has won the last 13 out of 15 matchups against Miami. They won the last 9 out of 10 matchups against Miami, and they have won 6 games in a row against Miami. Do you think there's any chance for the Dolphins to win this game tonight, JB?
I mean, it is a divisional game, teams always play tougher in the division. Um, they're in Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't unless they get some type of Fitz magic, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you,
Miami's just
man.
disarray right now.
Yeah, I don't think Miami has what it takes to get the win tonight. But I think that the question at hand for this game is how much does Buffalo win by? Because when I look at all of the analytics and the statistics for this game, almost everything that I normally look at favors Buffalo. But once again, I think the question is how much does Buffalo win this game by? Just a
Right.
few more statistics, real quick. Now, Buffalo's projected to win this game by 12 and a half points. Out of the last 10 matchups, five times in the last 10 games that they won against Miami, 5 of those games they won by 13 plus points. So right down the middle there. Now I do want to just mention that Tua has a 1-8 all-time record against Buffalo, and Josh Allen is 13-2 all-time against Miami. Now, I think it was week 2 last season where the Dolphins and Bills played, and everybody was on the Dolphins at that time. Well, a large majority of people, I should say, thought the Dolphins were going to win that game. I remember liking the Bills in that one, and the Bills ended up winning 31-10. I think James Cook had 3 touchdowns. And I'm getting the same vibes in this game tonight, except it's different. Everybody thinks, or a large majority of people think the Bills are going to take care of business in this game. I think Miami, like I said, I don't know if they have what it takes to win, but I think they could keep it relatively close. Now, I'm seeing that Waddle is questionable to play in this game. Have you heard any updates on his availability? I'll wait.
I haven't honestly. I thought he was healthy.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Let's see. I like to look at rotowire.com, and I'm seeing something going on with his shoulder. He's going to test his shoulder during the pregame, and it looks like there is optimism that he will play. Now, Darren Waller is out, tight end for Miami. Looks like Julian Hill is projected to get that starting position today at tight end. Other than that, everything pretty much looks clear. Miami's kicker is on the IR, Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just looking at this earlier. They have a guy in there. Who is Miami? They have a guy in there, Riley Patterson. So I don't think that helps Miami at all with their place kicker being out. But anyways, let's look at some of
No.
this other stuff here. So whenever I look at a team that is favored to win a game by 10 plus points, like the Bills are in this game, typically my natural instincts lead me to believe that the team that's projected to win by 10 plus points is going to run the ball more, and the team that is projected to lose by 10 plus points is going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. So that's what I see here tonight. And then I look at the passing play percentage. So no other team has called a higher percentage of passing plays this season than the Miami Dolphins. And then the Buffalo Bills have been calling, relative to other teams in the league, they've been calling a high percentage of rushing plays. So I think that's probably what we're going to see here tonight is Buffalo trying to establish that run, which they've done a good job at doing that this season, and then Miami trying to establish the pass. But, Miami, in regards to rushing yards allowed per game this season, they ranked 25th. So that's not good when you're going up against the Buffalo Bills, who rank second in rushing yards per game. So I think automatically a player that we have to look at first and foremost is James Cook for the Buffalo Bills. Last I checked last night, his over-under on rushing yards was at 67.5. He's only gone over that in 1 out of 7 career games against Miami, which is
Oh wow.
so that's a little sketchy. Now Miami has allowed the 10th most rushing yards to running backs this season, but we have a small sample size. It's been 2 games. What do you expect from James Cook tonight? Do you think he gets 70 plus rushing yards, or do you think maybe they work Ray Davis in there a little bit and Josh Allen?
I think they're gonna definitely throw the ball. They're more of a passing team, you know. But I mean they paid the guy, so you got to give him the rock. You got to ride him, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's in their interest to uh,
So do you think
get the ball.
Sorry, you were cutting out there for a second. So you think James Cook gets 70 plus rushing yards tonight?
I don't know about 70.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, what is his performance on primetime games?
Yeah, that's
When
a
did
good
he get that
question.
one? When did he get that one time?
I think it was last season in week 2. Let me just look that up real quick. James Cook game log is what I like to type in my search engine here. I'm on ESPN.com. I'll filter it to year 2024, and it was against Miami. Week 2, he got 78 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. He also had a receiving touchdown for 17 yards in that game, week 2 last season. So other than that, he hasn't hit the 70 plus or over 67.5 in in 6 other career games against Miami. So that has me, a little concerned. Now he did go over that in 10 out of 19 games last season. And another concern is if the Buffalo Bills get ahead in this game, let's say 21-0, 24-0 at halftime, I think you're going to see a lot more of Ray Davis, putting in some work at that running back position. So
Yeah.
now I think another person to look at here is Josh Allen. All right. Last I saw, his projected rushing total was over under 28.5 yards. He has gone over that in 9 out of 15 career games against the Dolphins. He went over that line or that mark in 10 out of 20 games last season. And Miami has allowed the 7th most rushing yards to quarterbacks this season.
Oh wow.
So I think, and just going back to
Good
Ray
rushing game
Davis
for.
too. Ray Davis, his over-under on rushing yards is 21.5. He's gone over that in 1 out of 2 career games against Miami, and then went over that in 8 out of 20 games last season. Now, I think the first person I'm looking at here is Josh Allen to get over his rushing yards, the 28.5. And then I would probably have to go with Ray Davis and then James Cook. but James Cook very well could. But that's just the way I would lean towards in when I'm talking about like confidence on who achieves their projected rushing yards total. Um, I feel most confident about Josh Allen hitting
You're on the
his, and
wrong
then
one,
Ray
dude.
Davis, and then James
What are you
Cook.
doing?
Um, I didn't see a rushing prop on Tua, but some of you may have that option. I would look at his history against Buffalo. Now this season, now once again, small sample size, but this season
Very.
Buffalo has allowed the most rushing yards to a quarterback. Now they did play Lamar Jackson, so who else did they play? They played the Jets, who they got Fields, but Fields, I think, got injured early in that game.
Mm-hmm.
But still, maybe that Bills quarterback rush defense is a little bit weak. If you guys see any Tua rushing props out there, I could see it hitting. Just kind of depends what that line is at.
Yeah,
So,
definitely don't see the Dolphins running against the Bills.
right. Um, and that's who I would be. That's who I would have to lean towards in the backfield, at least achieving their projected rushing yards total is Tua. Um, but it goes back to Miami being passing the ball. How effective will Miami be at passing the ball in this game? Once again, they rank first in passing play percentage, so no other team calls a higher percentage of passing plays than Miami this season. I do expect them to have to pass the ball in this game. So the first person that I would look for in regards to receiving yards and receptions, I'm not saying he's going to have the most receiving yards or the most receptions, but Achan. Achan, last I saw his over under on
Mm-hmm.
receiving yards was 40 and a half. And I think there was a game earlier this season where Tua targeted him 10 times. So Tua has shown that he can be the focal point of the passing game. And let me just double check that while we're here. And usually I have this stuff already. Yeah, 10 targets in week 2 against the Patriots this past week. So that's a
Yeah.
lot of targets for a running back.
Yeah.
And Buffalo really doesn't have a whole lot of vulnerabilities through the air. I would say that this could be their biggest vulnerability is pass catching backs. This season, Buffalo has allowed the 8th fewest receiving yards to running backs. They've allowed the 4th fewest receptions to running backs. But once again, this is a small sample size. I think last season they allowed a lot. Let me check that on fantasy.nfl.com. I'm filtering this by passing yards. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills allowed the most passing yards to running
Oh
backs
wow,
last season.
that's
They
wild.
allowed the second most touchdown receptions to running backs last season. And they allowed the third most receptions to running backs. So I would really be looking at Achan in the passing game. His over-under on receiving yards, last I saw, which was, I believe it was yesterday, is 40 and a half. He's gone over 40 and a half receiving yards in 2 out of 4 career games against Buffalo. And then he went over that in 7 out of 17 games last season. And then his receptions are at 5.5. He's also gone over that in 2 out of 4 career games against Buffalo, and then went over that in 8 out of 17 games last season. I think I would be leaning more towards his receptions
Yeah,
and then
I
his
agree.
receiving yards, just because of all those targets, man.
That's
That
just kind of the
he's
back that HN is, though. You know, that's just really what he's just had a knack for in the NFL. He's not really a third down bag. I mean, Tyreek Hill called him out on that. He's really, pass catching out in the open, get around the corner, off the edge kind of guy.
Speaking of Tyreek Hill, his over under
I'm
on
coming
receiving
home.
yards last I saw was 63 and a half. Do you see Tyreek Hill getting over that 63 and a half receiving yard total, JB?
Is that what he's averaged so far this year?
No, he's average. I'm not sure what his average is, but his projected receiving yards last I saw was at 63 and a half.
Right.
This
Um,
season, he had a game where he had 109 receiving yards. That was
yeah,
last week against New England, and then
like
40
six
receiving
catches.
yards.
Yeah, he had like 6 catches, 140 yards.
Yep.
That's something crazy. Um, yeah, I'll say he's gonna go over. He'll go over.
Yeah, I could see that too, especially with the Dolphins. I'm projecting that they're going to have to pass the ball a lot. So, yeah, I could see that. Now, Tyreek Hill, he's gone over, just in case anybody was wondering. Tyreek Hill has gone over that 63 and a half receiving yards in 6 out of 12 career games against Buffalo. So you don't have any super favorable history or history that is going against you too much. Just right down the middle, 6 out of 12. Personally, I would probably be leaning towards more of his receptions. Same with Achan. Hills is at 5.5, and the only reason why I say over the 5.5 receptions for Hill is because he's gone over that in 7 out of 12 career games against Buffalo, instead of that receiving yardage where he's only gone over 6 out of 12. So that's just kind of where I would lean there. And then just in case you guys were wondering, Waddle, his over under is 53 and a half receiving yards last that I saw. He's gone over that in 2 out of 8 career games against Buffalo. Receptions for Waddle, 4.5. He's gone over that in only 1 out of 8 career games against Buffalo. And if you like a tight end, Kincaid or
Mm,
Knox for
yep.
Buffalo, I can see them picking up some yardage if Buffalo passes the ball. My big question is how much is Buffalo going to have to pass? Uh, and if they
I
do
don't
have,
know about having to pass. I think that they're just going to pass just to get everybody. Like again, it's early. They all got to get on that page, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, man.
So I don't see why they wouldn't try to make it more of a 50-50 game,
Hmm.
or just get back in the groove.
Yeah,
I mean, Miami side as well, you know,
yeah.
Miami side as well. They gotta. I mean, man, boy.
No, I could see that. There was a game last season, J-Backs, where I think it was Cincinnati versus Jacksonville, and Cincinnati. When I was looking at it, I was like, how much is Cincinnati going to have to pass in this game? Well,
Hmm.
and I think it was Cincinnati. Don't quote me on this, but Cincinnati ended up winning this game like 50-7, and the Bengals just kept airing it out. But Bengals are
Yeah.
more of a passing team. And Buffalo, as I mentioned, they call a very high percentage of rushing plays relative to the other teams in the league this season. Last season, I mean, we can go check that out. Passing play percentage in the NFL in 2024. Let's go see where Buffalo ranked on that real quick. Buffalo, they ranked 29th. So, I mean, 29th. So this team really does like to run. And they are capable of passing. Josh Allen is a good passer. But
Are they run called plays, run design plays, or is it um plays that you know what I mean, like overall
mhm.
runs that end up happening because Josh Allen gets a lot of runs. Are you counting it as a I mean, is that Cook running the ball? Because Allen gets a lot of runs himself. I do get that, but I know, like, dude, Josh Allen is also known for putting up 400 something yards almost every week.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? He airs that ball out. Yes, he likes to run, but that running game, I don't know. Like I said, they did pay the guy. They need to get it, get him going. I don't know why they revert to the guy after they paid him or away from him, but I don't know. I've always just viewed Allen, man, as that high passing guy. I mean, they've been able to run the ball. They've always had a running game in their history. I just don't think that. I don't know, last year the running game seemed to come on a little bit more than it has with Cook before.
Mm. And I definitely think, that Buffalo, will pass the ball tonight. It's just how much. And I think Miami will pass the ball a lot more. Now, with that being said, it kind of depends on what the people think is going to happen in this game. I think there is a higher likelihood. I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm saying that there is a higher likelihood that if Buffalo is up by a large amount, I think I mentioned this earlier, if they're up by a large amount at halftime, they will run the ball more in the second half. You won't see as many passing plays from Buffalo.
Right.
But if it's close at halftime, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, I think you will see Buffalo throwing the ball. And I kind of think it's going to happen. I kind of think Miami is going to keep it close. As you mentioned earlier, this is a divisional game. And I think a lot of people, when you look at these two teams, I think a lot of people are naturally just going to be like, oh, the Bills, this is a no-brainer.
Right.
And
And I feel that same way too with my picks. A lot of people are going to be picking them, but I mean, you do look at what Miami has been, how they have been playing. I mean, how is Miami versus Buffalo on Thursday Night Football or on prime time? Or what are these? Like we need to. From to sway the pendulum for me, I need a little bit more of a convincing factor of why I should pick Miami versus, you know what I mean? Just because of what I've seen on TV the last 2 weeks, right? I need to know, like, okay, these reps. I need to know, certain. I mean, it's silly stuff, but like, for instance, Patty Mahomes, three for four interceptions. He's 4 for 5 now
no,
against
and
the
I,
Eagles. Against the
I
Eagles.
totally,
Against the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
certain things like to sway me, like just from what I see on TV, I gotta go with what's been put out there.
yeah,
Final product.
yeah. No, I get it. And I understand why people are going to be, on Buffalo here tonight and think Buffalo is going to win this game by a lot of points. And statistically, that's what I see here. I'm looking at we can talk about passing yards per game. Buffalo ranks second. We talk and that's incredible actually because they run the ball a lot, like I was saying, in regards to passing play percentage relative to the other teams in the league, but they still rank second in passing yards per game. And so, I mean, that goes back to what you were saying. Yeah, they may run the ball, but he can air it out too. And that's, I mean, case in point right there. I mean, that's impressive. And I think Detroit did that last year. They were a big rushing team relative to the other teams in the league, and they still threw for a good amount of passing yards. Buffalo, same thing here. Miami's pass defense ranks 24th in passing yards allowed per game this season. Miami, we're talking about how they're probably going to have to air the ball out today. Buffalo ranks first in passing yards allowed per game. So I think we're really going to see what this Bills pass defense is about here in this game. Rushing yards. Bills rank second in rushing yards per game as well. Miami's rush defense hasn't been good this year. They rank 25th in rushing yards allowed per game. Buffalo's rushing yards allowed per game ranked second worst, but Miami's rushing yards per game isn't impressive. They rank 29th. I think a lot of these numbers have to somewhat do with who these teams have played earlier this season. I'm looking at some of these Bills statistics, and it's really not surprising to me that, they have allowed the second most rushing yards when they went up against the top rushing team last season, Baltimore Ravens. But anyways, I'm looking at the third down conversion rates. I'd have to give a slight advantage to Buffalo. Buffalo, major red zone attempts advantage, a sacks on the quarterback advantage. The only thing that I really see that I can give Miami, some credit for is Miami's red zone conversion advantage this season. They're ranked 10th best. The problem is for Miami is getting into the red zone. But they do have, home run hitter Tyreek Hill. Buffalo is below average in opponent yards per completion this season. I think Miami, to compete in this game, are going to have to hit a home run with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to light a spark with him. That's what they got him for. That's why he's there. And if, he's failing to do that or they're failing to produce in that manner, why keep him there? You guys should just let him come home.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm looking at all these statistics and everything tells me Buffalo. But I am going to go ahead and say that the Dolphins, my prediction is that the Dolphins lose this game by no more than 12 points. If they lose by 13 or more, my prediction's wrong. And the only reason why I'm saying this, and I don't do this all the time. Every time I see, that a large majority of people like one team, I don't just automatically go to the other team. There's other things that I look at, but I would say that is a big reason and the deciding factor for me. To have my prediction in this game be Miami plus 12.5. But once again, guys, all the statistics I've been looking at tells me Buffalo. JB, what's your prediction on this one? Do you think Buffalo wins this game by 13 plus, or Miami keeps it within 12 or less, or possibly wins the game?
I think Buffalo covers the spread.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I think a lot of people think that today, and I really wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. But it's going to be fun to see if it does happen.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It
And
could
then
be a good game.
The projected points in this game is 49.5. JB. Only 5 out of the last 10 matchups have they between these two teams they've scored 50 plus combined total points. So not a lot of information to work with there. Miami, they have been involved in a game where they have scored a combined 50 plus in 1 out of 2 games this season. Buffalo and Baltimore, they scored 81 earlier this season, and then there were 40 points scored in the Buffalo and Jets game. Wow. Do you think that there will be 50 plus points scored in this game here tonight?
No. No, not at all. I think I don't know. I think Buffalo is the type of team to pour it on, right? But I don't think with it being as early as in the season that they're just gonna lay everything out there unless they're scoring on the same type of plays over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, divisional game, grinding game, prime time. I mean, yes, I could see it going over. I'm going to have to lean towards the under. I feel more confident in Miami keeping this game within arm's reach than I do the projected total points in this game. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see.
So at that point,
Any other last words, JB? Any other thoughts on this game?
No, not entirely. No, not really. I personally think it's pretty cut and dry. You know what it is or what it's gonna be. You know, I just don't think Miami's all that good.
Mhm. Oh, I do want to ask you real quick. I saw that you made a post a couple days ago about Tyreek Hill going back home to Kansas City. Have you heard anything else on that?
No, not within the past couple of days. I know. Um, I know Miami came out and stated, "Hey, we're not. Nobody's contacted us. We're not negotiating." They didn't say that they're not negotiating a trade. They just said they were not negotiating. That would read between the lines a little bit. A lot of people say, "Well, it doesn't mean that they'll trade him. It means they won't." But what just happened with Dallas Cowboys and Michael Parsons? Jerry Jones came out and said, "We're not trading him. We're not negotiating."
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks later, he was gone, and Green Bay wearing number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of times that is a for sale sign because immediately after he said that, what did Green Bay do? Even though he said no, we're not trading him, Green Bay sent him an offer. Immediately after Miami said that, breaking news out of Miami, fins up, and there's another place out there in Miami that Kansas City contacted him inquiring about Tyreek Hill. It's also like Pittsburgh was in the mix. I just don't see that working out very well. Um, who knows, man? I know Jalen Royals is back for Kansas City. He's participating, practicing for the first time this year. And so is Xavier Worthy. He is fully participant, no limitations. So,
JB, do you think that the Tyreek Hill trade rumors that are going around, do you think that there is a possibility that Miami wants to keep him healthy for some reason and doesn't utilize him as much tonight? Or do you think Tyreek Hill wants to stay healthy for any reason? Do you think that has to do with any basically what I'm asking is, do you think the trade rumors will have anything to do with Tyreek Hill productivity tonight or play calling?
um, it could go either way, right? I
Because
don't view his worth as much as it was, especially with some of the stuff that's been going on, right? So to kind of bump his worth up, I think that they need to go and play him, call his number, show that he can do what he's been doing, all that stuff. Tyreek, on the same note, if he is wanting to go back to Kansas City, he guarantee you knows what their salary cap looking like. Maybe he doesn't play as good. Maybe he helps push that narrative to get himself out.
yeah, it's like do the Dolphins want to push his stock higher? Does he want to push his stock higher, or is he content where he's at and just kind of
Right.
wants to stay healthy? Something to think about.
It is. It is. I stayed away from Tyreek Hill this year in fantasy football.
Mhm.
A couple reasons, quarterback, his age, him wanting out, productivity, you know. And if he goes to Kansas City, I'm probably going to try to find him.
Final score prediction, JB.
I'm going to say 14-28.
Bills
Buffalo.
win. Bills win 28-14.
Yep.
Um, um, 20, give me 26-20 Buffalo. 26-20 is my prediction.
26-20.
Yeah.
6-point game.
All right. So are we doing week 3 on Sunday again, 9 a.m. Eastern time?
Yep. We'll probably do it just a little bit differently. Same style though. But yeah, we'll be on all platforms Sunday morning.
Cool. Yeah, we can just I know, guys, we may have had, some technical difficulties and things like that this past weekend. It was our first time trying what we did, so moving forward, we'll do everything we can to improve the experience for you guys. But all right, man, that's about all I got.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks everybody for joining today. Not Moved Nation, thanks for joining. Hope everybody has a great day. Good luck.
Not moved. Always stay.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.